Welcome to the Help for Leaders podcast. I'm Stacey Harris, and I'm passionate about showing leaders the power of communication and how it can transform their organizations, from Fortune 500 boardrooms all the way to brand new startups. As a leader, your actions and your words transform people and your company culture. So join me as I share tips and insights for elevating your leadership abilities as well as your team's performance. Let's dive right in. Leading from your why. That's what we're going to talk about today on the Help for Leaders podcast. I'm Stacey Harris, and I'm so glad you've joined me. Today's episode is the first in a series of 4 episodes on leading from your why. Back in 2009, Simon Sinek started a movement to help people become more inspired at work. He did a TED Talk on how great leaders inspire action and shared with the world the golden circle. This graphic talked about the why, how, and what, with the why in the center of 3 concentric circles. He talked about the neuroscience of human decision-making by studying the marketing campaigns of successful brands. Well, we actually have a tool that measures your why. That's right. We have an online self-assessment called the 12 Driving Forces that measures your why. Your results will tell you why you do what you do. It measures motivation and strength behind your behaviors using 6 different motivators. So those motivators are knowledge, utility, which is the usefulness of something, our surroundings, others, power, and methodologies. Those are the 6 motivators that our assessment measures. And so these 6 motivators are divided into 2 distinct sides of a continuum, measuring 12 different drivers. And these drivers cluster into your primary drivers, your situational drivers, and even your indifferent drivers. So it's a really cool tool to actually measure your why. So I want to start by giving you just a brief overview of these 12 drivers, and then we're going to dig deeper into each of them in the next 3 episodes, okay? So let's start with the first motivator, which is knowledge. On one side of the knowledge continuum is instinctive. And instinctive individuals are driven by utilizing past experiences, their intuition. They'll seek specific knowledge when needed. They're the ones who are going to go Google that information. And on the other side of the knowledge continuum are intellectual individuals. So intellectual people are driven by opportunities to learn, to acquire knowledge. And it's this discovery of truth. Okay, so that's the first motivator. The next motivator is utility, or the usefulness of something. So on one side of the utility continuum is selfless. Selfless people are driven by completing tasks just for the sake of completion, with little or no expectation of a personal return. And then on the other side of that continuum is utility. And that's someone who is very resourceful and people who are driven by practical results, maximizing both efficiency and return on their investment of time, talent, energy, even resources. So that's our second motivator. Next, let's talk about surroundings. On one side of the surroundings continuum is objective. Objective people are driven by functionality and objectivity of their surroundings. They can compartmentalize things and they can thrive in chaos. And on the other side of that surroundings continuum is harmonious. Harmonious people are driven by the experience. They love subjective viewpoints and a balance in their surroundings. They love peace and harmony and balance all around them. So that's the third motivator. So we've got 3 more to talk about. Let's talk about others. On one side of the others continuum, you have intentional. Intentional people are driven to assist others for a specific purpose, not just for the sake of being helpful or supportive. And on the flip side of the others continuum, we have altruistic. Altruistic people are driven to assist others for the satisfaction of just being helpful or supportive. So that describes our fourth motivator of others. Our fifth motivator is all about power. On one side of the power continuum, we have someone who's collaborative. Collaborative people are driven by being in a supporting role and just contributing with very little need for individual recognition. And on the other side of the power continuum, we have commanding. Commanding people are driven by status, recognition, and control over their personal freedom. So these are the two drivers of the power continuum. And then lastly, our last motivator that we want to just give an overview of is methodologies. On one side of the methodologies continuum, we have receptive. Receptive people are driven by new ideas, new methods, new opportunities that fall outside of a defined system. And then on the other side of that continuum for methodologies, we have structured. Structured people are driven by traditional approaches, proven methods, and even a defined system for living. So that's a brief overview of our 12 driving forces, and we're going to be diving deeper into all 12 of those over the next 3 episodes of our Help for Leaders podcast. Okay, so let's think of an iceberg. We've all seen these. The top part, the part above the surface that we actually see, that observable part of the iceberg, is DISC. You've heard me talk about DISC in many of our other episodes. It's how we communicate. It's seen. What's beneath the surface, what we don't see, what's hidden, is what drives our behaviors. It's our why. It's why we do what we do. And that's what motivates us to action. That's what's important to us. That's what we're passionate about, okay? So DISC opens the door to communication with others. It tells us how we communicate. Do we need to speed up? Do we need to slow down? Do we need to get to the point? Do we need to talk personally? Where driving forces enhances our communication with others by building deeper connection. You can think of DISC as the doorway to communication and driving forces as the room or the space in which we actually speak. You'll be able to engage with people about their why. You'll find out, why are they engaged? Why are they passionate about a topic? Is it a return on investment that lights them up? Is it gaining knowledge that's their passion? Is it, thriving in chaos possibly that brings them to life? All of these things are our drivers and can really help us communicate more effectively when we understand this about each other. Driving forces help us understand the whole person. It helps to build better relationships, in turn producing better results. Leaders need to recognize the differences in their team members. If they want to encourage development, productivity, and even happiness of their team members, so understanding a person's comfort zone, helping them to learn more about themselves so they can be successful, all of that is how a person is driven. So this is a great way that teams can actually use our 12 driving forces assessment. The 12 driving forces can actually be used as part of the selection process because our assessment is both EEOC and OFCCP compliant. By fully understanding the motivation behind behaviors, your hiring team can actually get a strong sense of who a candidate is and how they prefer to work. And then you can see if those patterns and preferences align with the role that you're trying to fill. And we have a patented benchmarking process that you can use that will actually help you find top candidates. So the most popular combination of assessments for hiring purposes is both DISC and the 12 driving forces. And this package is called the Talent Insights, and it helps explain both the how and the why behind a candidate's behavior. So if you're wanting to grow professionally and understand your why, this is a great tool for you to get there. You should take our 12 Driving Forces assessment. We're actually going to offer a 10% discount to anyone listening to this podcast who reaches out to take the assessment. Just mention that you heard it on the Help for Leaders podcast. You can contact us. All of our info is in our bio. You can fill out our contact form. You can DM us. You can shoot us an email or even pick up the phone and give us a call. Again, all that's listed in our bio. We would love to help you, help your team understand your why and how it can enhance your communication. I hope I've piqued your interest and gotten you a little bit excited about your why and maybe thinking about your why and about what you're passionate about, what your driving force is, what's driving your behavior. I hope you'll join me over the next 3 weeks as we dive deeper into all 12 of the driving forces and leading from your why. So join me next week. I'm going to dig deeper into the motivations of knowledge and utility. Thank you for joining us today. You have the potential to communicate, engage, and lead with significant impact, and my goal is to help you do just that. Whether you're trying to get that next big promotion, scale your small business, or manage a team of thousands, there's always room for growth, and I can help you get there. Go to disc-report.com and find out what style of leader you are by downloading my free ebook on communication. Until next time, lead well and prosper.